The equilibrium of all processes that exist in nature is essential for all lives on Earth. The overexploitation of natural resources for the consumerist lifestyle of man in the present era has become a threat to the equilibrium of nature. As a consequence, man has to face various impacts of climate change. Sri Lanka is a country highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, which include increases in the frequency and intensity of disasters such as droughts, floods and landslides, variability and unpredictability of rainfall patterns, increase in temperature and sea level rise, among others. Climate change vulnerabilities exist across many sectors in the economy and threaten to compromise the significant achievements of the country's economic development. The climate change impacts are becoming a prominent issue in the Sri Lankan plantation sector, including the tea and rubber smallholding sector. Tea and rubber are grown as rain-fed plantation crops in Sri Lanka. The plantation crop sector, particularly tea, is a key contributor to the Sri Lankan economy in terms of foreign exchange earnings, employment and food supply. However, changes in temperature, rainfall variation and the occurrence of extreme weather events have adversely affected the sector that has impacted smallholder tea plantations too. The changes in rainfall and temperature conditions directly affect tea and rubber production. Tea production in Sri Lanka is affected by both short-term weather variations and long-term climate change, especially in low country areas. It is evident from research that loss of productivity due to climate change is ranged from 29 to 81 kilograms in 1 hectare per month for a 100 mm deficit of rainfall across the country. The decline in latex production in traditional rubber growing areas due to high rainfall and the impact of drought on growth parameters of new rubber plants in non-traditional areas is a common issue faced by the rubber smallholders. It is quite obvious that climate change will have a harmful effect on Sri Lankan tea and rubber production. As a remedy to climate change and its impact on tea and rubber smallholdings, STARR has been promoting an integrated approach to manage the tea replanting and planting of new rubber, adopting climate-smart agriculture practices. In this approach, the project has been given orientation and training while building on existing knowledge, technologies and principles of sustainable agriculture for the adoption of measures, such as selection of suitable lands for tea replanting and planting of new rubber, use of drought-tolerant cultivars for tea replanting and planting of new rubber, and support to produce healthy tea plants and jumbo plants by establishing self-nurseries and commercial nurseries. Use of soil enrichment practices to increase the organic carbon levels by rehabilitation of tea lands using mana and CO3, and avoiding soil erosion by introducing stone terraces and drains. Improving soil moisture retention capacity by use of mulching, application of organic matter, construction of check bunds and contour bunds. Irrigation during dry spells by the construction of agro wells and supply of bowsers. Selective weeding and reducing the burning of crop residues to avoid CO3 emission. Introducing shade trees and intercropping to improve the crop diversification to enhance food security and improve microclimate around the tea and rubber plants. Avoiding crop loss due to wild animals by establishing electric fences and protective devices. Development of home gardens as means to improve the food security of the tea and rubber smallholders by providing inputs. STARR Project aims to simultaneously achieve the improvement in productivity of tea and rubber, enhancement of climate resilience, and reduction of emissions by practicing those multiple activities in this integrated approach.